everybody. Welcome back to our Mental Health Power Up series, where we are teaming up with different doctors, counselors to talk about mental health and different organizations that are using geek culture and gaming to help you. Today, I almost forgot. Please, thank you. Matt
Dr.
is
Ryan
here.
Kelly?
No. I knew you.
I wanted to save you in case it was me and you forgot.
No. It's
No,
Matt.
it's just,
I
yeah.
always forget to introduce the co-host because I know them, so I don't
Gotcha.
know about it. So
Yeah,
Matt,
it's just, hi, yeah, whatever. Forget about me once again. Anyways, it's nice to
I
be
tried
here.
to remember. And he introduced himself, but I want to introduce him and thank him so much for coming on, Dr. Ryan Kelly, who we will be calling Homie Kelly. Just
Hey,
kidding.
I'll take Homie Kelly. Des is just Des. It's so great to be here with just a one-on-one between you and I. This is really great.
Damn it!
I love it.
What was that sound?
I hate this already. Anyways.
Oh, it's wonderful because usually it's you messing with me the whole time. So this is really nice.
That's fair.
I'm not that person.
Yeah.
I'll
But
convert
thank you
Dr. Ryan
so
by the end
much.
of this.
Your mouth. Okay, but thank you so
For what?
much for coming up. Shut
Of
up.
course. It's just going to be an hour of this. I don't of goofballery. And that's our show.
Yeah, if you've seen our show, you would know that
That's good. I like those
shenanigans
shows.
ensue. Yeah, but thank you so much for coming
Of course,
on.
of
And
course.
I know our listeners are going to be really, really excited to hear more about your organization. But before we jump into that, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What got you into counseling and becoming a doctor to help people? And kind of like, how did you get into the idea of using geek therapy?
Sure. So yeah, I got, we do what we know, right? I mean, I feel like that's a pretty common, common trope. That's not to say that all therapists, have mental health issues, but I think, kind of I was raised being aware of the benefits of mental health assessment and treatment. And I've always had a scientific mind, so I really enjoyed the research. And I kind of developed a fascination with the brain. And wasn't sure if I wanted to do practice or neuro stuff or what, but kind of went down a trajectory that went through a number of different villages, let's say, but now it landed me here at this incredibly niche geek and gaming psychology area. At least that is a large part of my career. But yeah, I mean, so a series of things that kind of led to that. And then as far as the geek stuff, I actually wasn't a huge geek when I was younger, not because I didn't have the disposition. I was just a highly competitive athlete up through college. And it just dominates your time. But I liked playing games when I could. And both of my brothers, two of my brothers, well, actually all three of them technically, were huge nerds. It's to varying degrees. And so I'd have them show me things. My brothers showed me, it got me into early anime of DBZ, Toonami, basically.
Toonami, yeah.
And so it got me into that. And then, I'd catch them when I could. And I always appreciated their passion. I've always been a highly extroverted, highly passionate guy. So I admired, geeks like us, we sort of say that the core component of being a geek is unapologetic enthusiasm. And you could be a geek about gaming, you could be a geek about football, but the idea is you love something so much you don't care how you're perceived in that admiration. And so I've always had that. And then later in life, I started to focus on Asperger's, children with autism, as I got into my career. Now, as I did, kids in autism spectrum have 90% have a special interest area, and these tend to be geek and gaming related, geek, gaming, and tech. So I was learning a ton more than my kind of breadth knowledge of Pokemon and gaming and anime and things like that. And I started through their passion to develop my own passion with it. And if someone says, it's like we were kind of talking about earlier, if someone says I'm like Lelouch from Code Geass and I haven't seen it, well, I'm going to watch it because I'm going to learn a lot from that. And so I just started collecting this massive kind of, collection armoire, I suppose, of geek and gaming culture, and started to love it myself, and was co-author and co-illustrator of the first Aspie superhero comic book, and then did kind of tours with that and started getting into gaming convention or like SDCC and stuff like that in 2012 to promote the book and work with that. And then it just kind of took off. And now, pre-COVID had done 16 cons in a year, and a lot of news outlets with geek and gaming, and started a media company called Geeks Like Us, where we combine psychology and geek and gaming, just to kind of help people understand themselves and the world around them, in 2017. And it just keeps stacking with academics and writing and D&D and VR. I do a lot of VR therapy and kind of heading that. And so, yeah, it's been a hell of a road.
I mean,
A weird
fun.
road.
No, it sounds fun. I mean, gosh, I think like for us as well, it's been like a wild ride, like from what we started doing when we started our podcast to having a whole series that's just focused on this. And I feel like we've learned so much from everybody who's come on. And I'm pretty excited because you just said that you made a comic. Can you tell us a little bit more about the comic that you made?
Sure. It's called Max Gamer, I Am a Superhero. And it's about a young boy named Max Gamer. He has autism. He's around 9 years old. And he loves video games, chicken nuggets, things like that, the whole Aspie thing. Hates shirt tags, knows all about dinosaurs, blah, blah, blah. It was originally meant for social skills intervention alone, just to help give kids a strength-based approach to their diagnosis, to understand themselves better and to see that they have that they're not just defined by weaknesses, but they have unique strengths as well. And then siblings of the group started to love it. And then we're like, reached out to a publisher and said, do you want this? Is this something you're interested in for global? And they're like, yeah, we would. But Max Gamer, I'm a Superhero. And this young boy has autism, and he's got a sister that's the exact opposite, highly socially, emotionally intelligent, so they don't get along. And anyway, his grandfather, who probably had autism, as it's inferred, gives him a gift for his birthday, which he did not do well at because he did not like birthday parties. It's too overwhelming for him, as it is for many autistic youth. And his sister gets sucked into a video game, and he's got to go in there to save her. And because of his strengths, he's able to beat the games, and his sister has no idea. And so, yeah, I mean, anyway, it's kind of a series that we had done. It got, after the first one, we kind of ran out of energy because I had to finish up my degree, and this was all in 2009, 2010. So I had just started my program. Yeah.
That's so cool.
That is so cool. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I know that when I lived in California right after I graduated, leading up to my graduation, I worked for a program called STARS that it basically focuses on children with like learning disabilities, autism, things like that. So that was my first introduction in working with children like that. And they're absolutely incredible. They teach you so much because like what we're used to seeing and how we view the world is so different compared to them. And I never thought about it. Here I was like 22 or something working with these children, and they were like just teaching me so much to the point where like they followed me on Facebook for a while, and then I like closed my Facebook, not because I don't support them, just because like one of them, his name was, what was his name? I cannot remember his name, but he developed this crush on me. And I just followed him. He's like 20 something now, but like he was just in love with me. And I remember he was really into Pokemon. So my last day, I gave him a bunch of like Pokemon stuff and said,
Jess, let me ask and be honest, okay? And
yes, I'll be honest.
Did this person's name rhyme with Schmat? Did it rhyme? Total anonymity here. Total anonymity. Where this is a safe treat. This is a
maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. I think you're right. You're right. I didn't want to like call anybody out. Thank you for doing it that way. Thank you.
I can't believe Kat. I can't believe it was that. That's a dude named Kat. What a wild
ride. Catherine, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Crazy.
Oh my God. I just remembered it. His name was Anders. And he was such a sweet little boy. But yeah, he was really
that
sweet.
Rhymes with Schmat.
Yeah. Well, Anders, his last name rhymes with Schmat.
This is actually very helpful. I have a podcast after this on rhyming, and I'm really bad at it. So this is going to be very good for me. It's a heads up.
Oh my God.
I also find it
funny. I love
right.
it.
I also find it fascinating because like a lot of the people that we've had come through, regardless if it was for this series or other, talk about how like, you know, they kind of grew up with the gaming, and I find, and like, you know, the geek culture, and I find it really interesting that you kind of fell into it more later in life because of kind of like the way that you were working in the space and getting into it. So like kind of just looking back at, you know, your kind of journey into it,
Sure.
were there any games or series or anything that really stood out to you that you like, that was a moment that like things like clicked and you're like, oh, this is so cool. Like this one property or this one thing really made a difference for me to understand the space a little bit better?
Well, if I try to think of milestones in my life, uh, Mario would be the first one because I would play
Nice.
with my brother, and
Mm-hmm.
he would do Magic the Gathering and all that stuff alone. He was a big introvert. I loved people and hanging out with others. I really struggled to entertain myself, and I saw the social component. Then we take turns and have a mutual goal we're trying to accomplish, and you know, no one kills my brother. I'm going to avenge him, and all the wonderful
Aw.
things that gaming
Yeah.
can do. And you know, I was 5, he was 7. My 2 younger brothers were around 1 years old, and so that was pretty wonderful. And then I think the next one that, yeah, in addition to Contra and all that kind of stuff, but
Sure. Yeah.
it was time with my brothers and my mother to some degree. Then it was Ocarina of Time. So that was the first one where it felt like I could escape into another world, and I, I really started to relate to the mythos, and I started to sort of benefit fully from the vicarious experience of being Link, and uh, making those connections, and looking back even 2 to 3 years after playing the game and feeling like those were adventures I went on and I succeeded on, and
Mm-hmm.
realizing, I mean, as a child, that you know, I sort of, part of my identity and part of my understanding of the world around me came from Ocarina of Time, and I remember even sort of being fascinated by that. Um, Largely social games after that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, DBZ, Tekken, fighters. Loved fighters. Played a lot of
Nice.
fighters. We tore the arcades up, but console I didn't have time for. So arcades, I was a big fighter guy, putting the quarters up on the thing, having the killer instinct
Nice.
combos.
Oh my
15-year-old
God, I
dudes
love
being
it.
pissed. One guy broke one of the arcade glass one time because I kicked his ass at like 7.
Oh my God.
His girlfriend was like, gave me a little wink, and I was like, yeah, we're gonna get married.
Oh yeah.
What's up, baby? With my Jinkos. Don't mind my pipelines, girl. Grab onto my wallet chain. I'll take you over here. But
You like these studs on my belt?
yeah. Hop on the Santa Cruz board. We'll go down to Kmart and slap bracelets with Pop Rocks, whatever
Oh my
90s,
God,
whatever
when
90s.
Kmart
Yeah,
was
we could
still a thing.
just slam
Yeah.
you with 90s metaverse. But and then, you know, the next one would probably be Halo, because I was
Nice.
like, it was my first experience with really significant LAN parties. I always liked technology and I always liked computers,
Mhm.
but I wasn't really into. I would do Quake runs with my buds, and I would do a little bit of CS:GO runs with my buds, but I'd only do in LAN format. I wouldn't play on my own, and that was when games first got sweaty, right? So, in my
Yeah.
opinion, so if I wasn't keeping up, it was viewed as a bad thing, and then as time went on, I mean, I couldn't play a lot of games. I was just always very busy, but there were some that stood out. I've always loved role playing games, Dark Souls. I just got Elden Ring. Have the
Nice.
Nice.
little basically crackerjack Elden Ring right now. Don't be impressed. I don't know how
My breath
wife
just left
still.
my body.
It's crazy because I went and got it, and my wife said, "Where were you?" And I said, "I was at GameStop getting my pre-released pre-order with all my collectibles of Elden Ring." And she said, "I need you to come home and have sex with me right now." And I said, "Slow down." I said, "Slow down. I need to check out the clearance rack first."
Yeah, I have
Lady.
art cards to look at.
I have art cards to look at. First things first.
Oh my
Then
God,
I'm
I
gonna run
love
by
it.
the Platinum Card Store because, excuse me, this is me time. And then I went home and we had some serious Soulsborne, just violent. No, I'm just kidding.
I love it. I love it. I love it. The
Yeah, I
gamer
mean,
girl in me respects that, right?
Mhm.
Like,
yeah, for sure. Well, my wife is a big geek, but she's a geek in the way of like boy love and yaoi porn, basically stuff like
I
that. She'd hate me
cannot
for
do
saying this.
yaoi. I
She loves
tried.
yaoi.
I can't do it. I can't do
She's
it.
so into that stuff, but she like Harry Potter, fantasy books. We're big
Mhm.
fans of Mercedes Lackey and Larry Dixon, and have had the fortune of developing relationships with them. And But no, I mean, she was a college soccer player. She's an orthopedist. So we're geek and gamers, but we've been so busy. And then we had children pretty
Hmm.
soon. But yeah, I mean, I love gaming. I've always loved comic books. I struggle to read. So my mother brought me those and sci-fi novels. And so I've
Nice.
kept up with comics. And so, I mean, again, I always did love geek and gaming. I
Right.
just didn't have time. And
Hmm.
it just, I was doing too much.
It kind
Right.
of sounds like you had a good balance, though. Like, you named a
Yeah,
lot of games. Like,
I
just
Yeah.
did.
because you weren't doing it all the time, I mean, I think it's good to have a balance. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Oh,
It sounds like you had a pretty good
for
one.
sure. Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
something that we're trying to give guidelines to parents now about, so that we don't demonize games, but also recognizing the very real reality that it interferes with kids' lives if they're not living, right? I mean, if they're
Right.
Right.
it's just so fun, and it's
Yep.
such a fun thing. And so if you're doing it, and then we sort of think of life domains, right? It's like it starts to
Yeah.
eat away at your life domains: physical health, family time, social life, school, whatever it
Hmm.
is, productive leisure time, hobbies, etc. And my mother knew that very young, so we only got about an hour a day. And but we got Saved by the Bell in the morning for free. That was a freebie.
Ah, Zach
It's,
Norris's
when first
trash.
friends came out in the morning, it was like, eating some Cookie Crisp, watching some Will Smith. And for those who can't see me, I was doing the Carlton flawlessly.
That was the
Um,
Carlton. That was really
If
good.
you're listening to the audio version, please hop over to YouTube and check the video out because it is
Oh
100%
God,
worth it.
it was so good.
but yeah, so I always enjoyed it, and I think if I had gone back, would I have loved to do some more stuff? Sure, but
Hmm.
I love what I did do, and I loved athleticism, and I gained a lot out of sports and teams and confidence out of that, and
Hmm.
um, I loved a lot of the stuff I did. But part of me kind of wishes I was more into it because I love it very much now, but I don't have a ton of time now because now I've got
Yeah.
children. And but that's
You're a
partly why I make it
dad and you're
professional.
working.
If I'm not streaming while playing a video game, I feel guilty. I feel like I should be being unproductive.
Feel
Well, you might as well
unclean.
stream if you're playing it. Like, if you're already playing it, just go ahead and stream it,
That's what I'm saying. It's you either
right?
stream or you drink to forget you're Catholic. That's the other.
Oh, that's true.
That's
That's
both
true.
are
The big
effective.
two.
The
I've
big
already
two.
forgotten that was said.
The big two. The big two.
I know the There's two things in this life: streaming and alcohol.
Right?
I'm not opposed. What's funny? I'm play. Well, I have played with my older brother since I was 5, and I'm playing with him tonight. And he lives in this town. We're
Aw,
dear,
that's
dear,
sweet.
dear friends. And he's a pediatric GI specialist in my town, and he still plays 3 to 4 hours a day. It
Oh,
doesn't
God.
interfere with his life. He just dedicates it to that. I still like sports and lifting and things like that. But
Mhm.
so tonight we're gonna crush some Elden Ring. I got a little bit of tequila.
Nice.
By the way, I don't drink
Ah.
a ton, and I feel like I'm giving an impression.
You know what?
Oh,
I don't
this
think we
is-
thought
I
that
don't-
until you got defensive about it. It was like,
Yeah.
I don't drink a ton. And you're like,
I don't drink a ton. What's funny? I didn't drink for 12 years, and then there's no way to tell people, yeah, I started drinking again, without people like freaking out.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I didn't drink, and I enjoyed the discipline of it, and then for a long time. And then I was talking to my brother. His name's Rory. I was talking to him on the phone. And we're going to play Elden Ring tonight. My wife's at the Lion King play. I wish I could have been there.
Oh, no.
So
So sorry.
My son, and having
So
to deal with
sorry.
Damn it.
I love getting
I'm
dressed
so
up
sorry.
in a tuxedo and anyway. But yeah, I was looking at this this bottle of tequila that had about a quarter left, and I was talking to my brother on the phone. I was like, yeah, I'm probably gonna need to get more. And I was like, Jesus, if I could time travel, like if me from 40 years ago came and saw me doing that, I'd be like, how much dick are you sucking, Ryan? Like that, like what has happened in your life? Like what you divorced for sure. Your 9-year-old son calls you Ryan probably because you're estranged. But no, anyway,
That reminds me of my college roommate who was known to walk around with a glass of wine every day, and we went to a restaurant.
Was it
Yeah.
red wine? Because I heard that's
It was red
really
wine.
healthy.
It was red wine.
It's really healthy.
We went out for dinner once, and the waitress asked, like, "What can I get you?" He was like, "Oh, like I'll just have a glass of red wine." He's like, "I don't drink that much," and we all started laughing at him. He's like, "I don't drink that much. I drink often, but I don't drink that much." And I'm like,
that's a good way to put it. Like,
can't argue,
you can't argue with that.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, you know what? Never mind. I take it back. But anyways,
that's so fun. No, it's the thing that sucks about, you know, the people closest to you also being in, you know, healthcare and medicine, is they always call you and stuff. So I was like, no, it'll be cool for me to have a glass of wine the end of the day. It's good for the heart, right? And then my brother, it's like one of his specialties, sent me an article of how there is not a single cardiovascular group that says that anymore. And I'm like, damn it. They're like, there is not any alcohol. And I was like, well, I'm just going to willfully ignore that.
Ignorance is bliss.
Or just look for things online that support how you feel, because that's what everybody does anyway.
If you guys,
by the way, if you don't have a glass of wine, go ahead and get one.
Go ahead and get one.
Mine
I'll
right
get my
here.
bottle of tequila.
I have a bottle of gin, Hendrix, right over there. You can't see it.
What you have, and that's going to be
our first 4-hour podcast.
He has the bigger bottle.
Right. We're not going to talk about gaming and geek and psychology at all. Right.
Anyways.
It's not my job to steer this thing. This is the evening I get to just say what I want to say. I'm going to misbehave unless you scold me.
No, please misbehave. We want you to be as authentic as possible. But moving on to the next question, because Matt already asked about the game, so I feel like I don't want to go back to that. But can you tell us a little bit about kind of like, if somebody wanted to know more about you, if they wanted to know where to get your comic that you made, where would they go?
Sadly, the publisher went under with COVID. So we're currently looking for a new publisher. In which case, I will absolutely tell you. You can get the digital version on Comixology, the app or the website.
Okay, we'll put that down below.
Yeah. As far as connecting with me, I limited a little bit. It got a little overwhelming.
Oh my God, I feel so lucky.
Oh yeah.
Especially that you limited. Okay, thank you.
I was telling Des and Matt earlier that I was telling my co-founder of the media company we own, that I wanted to stop social media, and she was threw everything you could imagine at me. But and understandably so. But I do try to be fairly receptive on Twitter. It doesn't mean I'm gonna friend you or get back to you promptly. But I'll tell you this right now. If you have a passion for what you're about to talk to me about, and it's going to readily seem like it's going to help people, then I'm probably going to give you the time of day. Now I get a little overloaded with stuff, but sure, I get a little overloaded with stuff. But DRR Kelly on Twitter is where you can contact me, and me and my co-founder are getting a handler, and that might change, and we'll give some other contact. For now, that's a way to get a hold of us.
Awesome. And do you guys have a website? So if people want to learn
more about
being
reconstructed.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
when we get all of that, guys, we'll update you. Sweet. Oh my God! Listen, it's been really incredible having you on. You're so funny.
Well, it's been great.
Listen,
so
I'm not ending it yet. Don't get excited. I know you're excited to go play Elden Ring, but we got about like 5 more minutes. I'm keeping you for 5 more minutes.
You keep me however long. You keep me however long. I got my wine and my albuterol. I don't know why this is.
I think we all have something to drink. But if you have any advice that you could give someone, oh my God.
Goodbye horses, man. Good. I'm crying. Little lambs. Can I get mangina on your YouTube? Is that inappropriate?
No. I've said worse. We just played a game called...
I'll stop. You catch me late in the evening. My professionalism runs
perfect.
dry. So
you have to go watch our What the Fuck episode, because if you saw that, you would understand just how tame you really are being right now compared to that
game.
Jesus, what we went through on that episode
was so bad. It was so bad.
Clip that for my wife and co-founder of Geeks Like Us. I'm being tame. I deserve so much of the credit you just gave me. Okay.
You do. We'll send you a plaque.
Last question.
Perfect.
Oh, we should We should send him an award. We should send
I'll
Andy
take it.
an
I'll
award.
receive it with open arms. What's your question?
But if someone were to, what kind of advice would you give to someone if they were dealing with some mental struggles, whether it be depression? And I know you're like, oh, well, look for a therapist, but you brought up something really important that I wanted to kind of touch on before we ended, is that not every therapist fits with their client.
Mm.
Right. And so you were talking about supposedly if it was a young Black man, you might not be the right fit for him. And I love that you brought that up, because I feel like you're the only one who's actually talked about that. And a lot of people will stick with therapists not knowing that it's okay to break that relationship and find
Right.
someone else. So I want to know, what do you think is the best way to kind of break that relationship with a therapist? Because I feel like it would bring up a lot of anxiety telling somebody that you don't think you can work well with them.
So the question is, how do you end a relationship with a therapist that you believe is not fortuitous or beneficial to you? Okay.
Yes.
Tell them. I know anxiety builds up, but that's kind of it's sort of a meta intervention. You're nervous because you're worried that they'll reject you, or that you'll offend them, or that you'll offend them and so they won't like you anymore, and that you'll lose someone that cares about you. I mean, all those things might go through your head. They're not rational. And if they are, Jesus, get away from that therapist, because they're supposed to be not take things personally. It's a job.
Right.
It's sort of a thing. It's like, it's complicated because our job is to know you intimately, but we're not your friend. And I don't say that to be mean. We're not paid to be very expensive friends, right?
Right.
We care about you. We can't get rid of that. We're humans, most of us. But
the robo-psychologists taking away jobs.
There's oh my gosh. I mean, you talk about, there's something called transference that they used to try to say with Freud and psychoanalysts, where they would try to prevent that. They would try to prevent that connection from being made, which we decided was stupid. But it's also why psychology is constantly in the the top 3 burnout jobs of any profession. So it's for a reason. You're connecting with people in ways that it's not very organic, I suppose, or good for you in short term. But what they used to do is they sit you on a couch and you could not look at the therapist. And if you turn back,
I remember, them, right?
If you'd be like,
you'd have to look straight up with your hands on your chest.
Around. Like literally, if you turn back, like, what about my dad? They'd be like, turn the fuck around. You're like, okay. And they'd be like, so tell me why you want that your mama's sweet, sweet tang. And you'd be like, this is a weird office that I'm in. I'm like, well, I don't know. I guess just because. Anyway,
Oedipus. I had an obsession with the story Oedipus, and that's what happened. Sorry.
That's right. I, for one, really wanted my mom's sweet tang, but it's mainly because I was a single parent raised child. And anyway, wow.
To be fair, Tank, he's talking about the drink. Everyone, the powdered orange drink. That's exactly what he's talking about. And there's so many different recipes to have.
It's
just delicious.
Nothing. Yeah. Can I just put that phrase in anything? That was my vows to my wife. She said this beautiful thing. About trust and reliability and blah blah blah. Cry me a fucking river. And I was like, it's Nerf
or nothing.
Or nothing. just a long. You better find a gun or a good hiding place. just reenacted the 1993 Nerf commercial for her.
Oh my god, it was so good. Thank you for that.
Divorce in the world. But
we know what not kind of advice to come to you for is relationship advice.
That might be fair. So I would say this. Look, the whole point. A therapist needs to earn your trust. If you are worried about telling them that, it means they never even earned it in the first place. Now, is that because of something that you struggle with? Maybe, but that doesn't mean it's your fault. So you have to, it's like for people who get a haircut and they're like, well, I didn't want to tell them I didn't like the haircut. It's like, tell them it's too fucking short. You're paying them to cut your hair. You hurt their feelings. Come on. And so I know I'm being a little bit coy, and I know this is difficult for people, but I say it that way intentionally because that is the way you need to view it. It's you kind of need to not care, right? It's like, just say, look, I appreciate you. I'm going to try to find someone who's a better fit. You've helped me in some ways, if that's true. But, I'm growing, and I think that my needs have changed, and I think I need to pursue different avenues, right? And
I
simple
think
as that.
that's a really nice way of
That's a
saying
beautiful
it.
way of
That was a
saying it. Yeah.
beautiful way of saying
Really,
it.
though.
I got teary-eyed.
That or fuck off and die. Both are good.
Right. Both beautiful
good.
in different ways.
Both good. Second favorite. Right. Second favorite. I wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire, Dr. Kelly. Whoa. Boy.
Oh my God. I don't know how you would take that to heart. But thank you.
Rolls right off my back. No big deal.
You've been incredible. Sure. And I hope everybody who's listening, like, really took something away from that. Like, if you're a therapist and if you're not connecting, it's important for your mental health to be able to break that off and find somebody that you connect with. Mm-hmm. I can't stress that enough. I know a lot of people are out here looking for, even if you're doing, which I don't recommend, but even if you're doing one of those BetterHelp things and like you're talking to somebody online, if you don't connect with them, like, just end it. I mean, you can ghost them, which I don't think you should ghost people, but I would if I didn't want to deal with it anymore. I just
don't view it as people. You're ghosting a service. You're stopping receiving a service.
Thank you. Thank you. So
if we're wrapping up, I would like to leave one kind of idea, if that's okay.
Oh yeah.
So I will tell you this: we can get into the dredges of humanity and psychological experience and the diversity of experience in this ever increasing and ever expanding world that we like to imagine our differences are so meaningful, but it's hard to think of that sometimes with how expansive it is. But I would tell you this, that the best thing that you can take, in my opinion, is trying to glorify and adopt grit. And grit is a combination of passion and persistence. Geeks are amazing at passion. It's what defines them. It is an incredible power. Geeks like us strives to help people turn their passion into a career. That's largely what we do. Persistence, that's the one that takes a great deal of practice. And some people, it's more innate. And that's wonderful for them. But I think it's something that if you can aspire to two things, aside from alcohol and what was the other one you said, Schmatt? You said two things. I want to reference that for the rest of my life.
And what was the other one?
Streaming.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my God! You
streaming.
really forgot it.
Streaming. Okay, listen. We both know forgetting to be Catholic because of alcohol. That was the big one, and then streaming. Correct. Right? That was like the little brother of it.
The two main things.
But the number three, Dr. Kelly.
But I'd say right. The one should have persisted. 3 or 4. 3 or 4. But no, the idea is, it's not just about weaknesses and life being hard. Everybody's life is hard in some way. We're in an ever-increasing cold void. We're on a pale blue dot in a lonely universe, and you can take that and you can say that's depressing, or you could say I'm going to find my own meaning in life, and I'm going to find gratitude, and I'm going to find purpose, and fuck whatever objective truth may or may not exist. Because if I can experience meaning, then no one can take that away. And so, we are powers of perception, and that is a wildly empowering thing, in my opinion, despite how cold one may view and nihilistically one may view the universe. But there's a lot of robust literature on well-being being more, if not more important than reducing psychopathology, meaning symptoms. So all that being said, focus on increasing your life satisfaction, try for gratitude, persist. Don't try not to get in a victim mentality, even if you are a victim. No, it's not to say you're not a victim, but push, be a survivor, right? It's like you really want to grab on. Don't get stuck in the drudges. You might have every right to, and no one can judge you for some people to be stuck in the drudges. But is that effective? And the answer is no, and you deserve to be able to move, and you deserve to be able to get to where you want to go. And so grit is the kind of thing that I would really, really push. And I hope that's something that you all have. And I hope it's something that if you don't, that maybe that message helps you pursue it more.
Thank you. That was good.
Really well said. Yeah.
Just don't be too hard on yourself, because life is hard. So
it's a tough one.
It's tough. A lot of shit is going on that like you can't control. So try to focus on the things you can control, which is hard sometimes, but yeah. But yeah, we're gonna wrap things up because I really want to drink this wine, and I know You want to get to Elden Ring, but I want to say thank you again so much for coming on. This has been an absolute
Anytime.
blast. I know you're a busy man. I'm glad you said anytime because I will be hitting you up again to come on to a regular podcast.
No worries. No worries.
But could you drop your socials one more time for our listeners
Sure.
if they want to find out?
So Twitter would be the one to go to. That's DRRKELLY. It's R. Kelly. It's been the bane of my existence in Space Jam.
Oh God, I wanna
Yeah.
pee on you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Des. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was, it was.
Schmez.
Right. 1994-ish, it was I Believe I Can Fly. Kelly, you believe you can fly? It's like, but at least it was sweet and innocent. I was related to Jordan, but then, and then he's just got a pee-pee.
He married like Aaliyah when she was like 14. That's a whole nother conversation. We're not even gonna talk about
with
that.
His pee-pee mouth.
His pee-pee mouth.
And then all of a sudden, R. Kelly, I don't want that on my
so
fucking jersey. Right, and now, number 3 coming onto the field, R. Kelly. It's like, fuck.
Oh, that's, you know what?
Man.
Don't drink that yellow Gatorade.
I didn't even think about that. I didn't think about it until you said R. Kelly, so you just put yourself on blast.
I put myself on blast. Someone's going to figure it out.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah. I was in a Facebook group, and there's 78 of us called R. Kellys of the world, and that's basically all we talk about.
There's a group?
There's like 72 people. There's one thread that happened like 2 days in 2009, and it's like, I don't know how, like hundreds of comments like, dude, fuck R. Kelly. And that was the end of it. We were like, all right, glad we got that out of our system, and then never talked again.
Oh my God. That's the best. But listen, guys,
I'm
going to cut everybody off because it's time to say goodbye.
That's fair.
So thank you, Ryan.
For sure.
R. Kelly.
Great to be here.
Don't you dare. And Matt, do you have any closing statements before we take off?
I loved how warm this conversation was. It really felt like a shower of some sorts, and I just appreciate.
You can't say shower after you talk R. Kelly, bro.
It was like a golden ray of sunshine, wasn't it?
Sunshine.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, thank you so much for coming. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you, and like I feel like I learned a lot, and I'm excited to learn more about Geeks Like Us. And we'll have all the links in the description below. So thank you.
Perfect. Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
So that's it for us. Burnout Brighter out. R. Kelly out. Please don't pee on people. Bye.
Tell me what to do.
Everyone, we hope you have been enjoying Mental Health Power Up as much as we have. These conversations are incredibly important, and we very much appreciate your time. But these conversations aren't the only thing that we're doing, Destiny. What is the second part to this?
Guys, the second part is pretty baller. So we are going to be asking you guys to donate money and share the information about the podcast, but specifically about Guardians Mental Health. They're this great organization that uses geek culture, the things that we absolutely love, comics, gaming, video games, to kind of help people who are struggling mentally and in a therapeutic way. And they put together these kits that they send out, and you don't have to pay for these kits. This is one of the most amazing things about what this organization is doing. They're sending out these kits, but obviously it takes money to print the materials, to get everything put together. And that's why we're raising money for them, because we want to help them so that they can help more of you guys. And Matt has got some amazing details about what you can win if we reach certain tiers.
That's right. You just need to donate to be entered. There is no amount that is too small or too large. Whatever you're able to do, $10 is what it costs to make these kits. So if you can do that, fantastic. If you could do absolutely anything, we would appreciate it. As we hit different stretch goals, we are going to be giving out different amazing gifts that we have for some amazing people that we're working with. So please hop over to that link, take a look. If you can donate, please do so. And you might just win something cool for yourself as well, because again, every little bit can make a difference in someone's life. So we thank you for taking the time to do so. If you can't, Destiny, if somebody can't donate, what else can they do to help?
They can just share the information. Share it to your social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you have like a place that you like to interact with people online, share that information. And one of the things that I wanted to say, and I know Matt and Darren feel the same way, is we just want to thank you guys,
Mm-hmm.
because for each one of you that shares or donates, I'm just going to say it prematurely. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. This is so
Mm-hmm.
important to us, and it's important to our listeners, and it's one of the main reasons why we even started the podcast. Like, not only was it about gaming, but mental health has definitely been a strong core that
Mm-hmm.
we've always wanted to talk about. So this is our first time doing it. We're super excited. We hope you're excited, and yeah, donate, share the information, win some prizes, but most of all, just do it from the bottom of your heart. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, the prizes are just kind of like icing on top of the cake. But
Exactly. So please be there for one another. Help us reach other people who might need to hear some of this because we know how much it's helped us. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Like Destiny said, we'll see you on the next one, everybody. All the links will be in the show notes below. Check it out. Bye.